Hello and welcome to Comfort Legacies with Faye and Michelle. And we have our beautiful guest here today, Miss Andrea, and we're going to let her tell us a little bit about herself and we'll get started.
Thank you so much, Mrs. Michelle. I thank you for having me. Thank you for this opportunity. My name is Andrea Echols, and I wrote a book recently called Louisa Teaches Mike How to Save. I am originally from Barbados, been here for many years, and my background stems from teaching, being a teacher, and then a stay-at-home mom for many years. But I've also started writing. I write and I'm a mentor. I started working on the Outschool platform, and I started a class called Teens Managing Money, but let's learn the basics first, which was my inspiration for the book, along with me teaching my little ones how to save money.
Okay, so when did you write the book?
I wrote the book about 3 months ago. 3 months ago, I wrote the book, but I had inspiration before then. I just getting the gut feeling I needed to write something. And between the class and my husband also was motivated to write his book. And I was like more motivated at that point, saying, you know what, let's do this. Let's just do this. And at that point, I started to write. So it didn't take very long, but the inspiration behind it was there. And I was sitting on that thought. So for others out there who are just sitting, you got to just do it. Just do it.
Okay. So do you think that the time was perfect for you, being that it was the pandemic and we're all quarantined in?
Definitely. It was more of a force because if I was out there working, I know I would not find the time to get it in, to do it as promptly as I did. And I would have more distractions. I had a lot of distractions, but it was definitely the time because you had time at home during the night when I felt like, okay, it's tidy up time. I found time to write it and take time to write and think, and everything started flowing. God had a lot to do with it too. He definitely inspired me in so many ways. When I got stuck, he made a way and showed me what to do. So I give honor to him as well.
Okay. How long did it take you to write the book?
Maybe a month. Not even that long, maybe a few weeks to a month. Extracting the process with the illustration, approximately a month. I had to definitely get outside help with the illustration, but I did choose the self-publishing process.
Okay. So do you think that you have to be emotional to be a writer?
Definitely emotion has a lot to do with it, but passion and a dream and thoughts, just your thoughts and being passionate about that gives you that track to say, let me write it down. Let me share it with the world. So emotions have a lot to do with it, but definitely if you have a passion and the desire to share your work with the world, write it. I say write it.
Okay. So the illustrations you mentioned, you said you have to outsource them. Which path did you take in order to get your illustrations done?
Okay, first, with the self-publishing
Mhm.
piece, I went through Kindle Direct Publishing, which is connected with Amazon. And for the formatting part, which can be a bit tricky, I had my illustrator do that. It was just a blessing that when I chose my illustrator, I chose her through Fiverr.
Mhm.
Or I should say, I started researching and I came up with Fiverr as one of my options. And one of my illustrative groups, I believe it was children illustrators, she happened to be on there as well. And we could, yeah, God blessed me with a wonderful illustrator who worked with me. I gave her the guide of what I wanted per page, and she worked so well with me. And a blessing in that she also formatted the whole entire presentation to link it to KDP. So it was ready for upload when she was finished with it. So that whole process, I paid for that, but at the same time, if I had to go through a publisher, I think I would have had to pay a whole lot more. So between the bit of control I have over the book and the process to edit when I want, the manageable budget, how I can make changes more quickly, I think definitely are the advantages towards self-publishing in that avenue that I took. It was definitely more feasible for me. As a
Okay.
stay-at-home mom at the time, um, I chose self-publishing because it
Okay.
was the budget I was thinking about. It was the timing. I would have to definitely be on somebody else's time clock. So I had to work with what worked for me. And
Okay.
I would advise anyone that is on the same road as, oh, don't have too much time, don't have a lot in the budget, definitely want some more control over your book, to definitely think about self-publishing. It can be an
Okay.
option.
Okay. So, what about your proofing? Did you proof your own work, or did you reach
Yes,
out to others?
yes, my husband as a writer, I had him as a second eye, and I edited. So between us, yes, I edited the book pretty much myself. That was a cost that I also did not had to put up. So
Well, lucky you.
yes, lucky me in that.
That's really great. I mean, you pretty much self-published all the way around. There are
Right.
hybrid publishers, they get a portion of it done, or
Mhm.
sometimes they have part of the work done through a literary house or
Right.
whatnot. So, because the book you haven't received your proof copy yet, but it
Yeah.
is listed as an ebook, right?
Yes. It is listed on Amazon as an ebook, and
Okay.
you can go there and get your copy.
Okay. So now tell me.
Yes.
Now, I usually ask everyone, how did it feel when you got that baby in your hand when it was all done?
Beautiful, beautiful, surreal blessing. I felt proud of myself. I felt proud of the accomplishment because I know I was sitting on it for a little while. So
Mhm.
it felt good, felt really good. And that it will finally reach others, children, and hopefully classrooms. So I'm really happy about that.
Okay. Now, I ask you that in particular because you didn't receive your copy yet. And most people get that, well, they get to feel it, right away. And so yours is online. So when did you feel that? Yes, I'm done.
Yes, well, um, when I got the review on Kindle Direct Publishing that
Ah,
your ebook is out there ready to be viewed, and my husband he bought a copy, so
oh,
I was able to have it on the Kindle version. So seeing it, sometimes
yeah,
they say, "Oh, you say it," and someone can tell you it's there, but when you actually see it for yourself, you're like,
yeah.
oh my goodness, it's done. I feel like I've accomplished something. I'm an author. So that's a
Right,
great
right.
feeling. It's a great feeling.
It is. I've been told that it feels magical
Yes.
several times. I remember for me, yes, I could not stop cheesing her. I think I hurt my jaws a little bit. So, so I love to ask that question because it's almost like a birthing and
Yes,
having that baby, and you just, there's no words to really explain how you
definitely.
pulled
And
your
what made
thoughts from your
yes,
head. Hmm.
definitely. What made me so excited too was to see that not only did I inspire myself through this too, but my children, my daughter is writing her own little books. So she's like, Mom, I finished writing my first book and I'm moving on to my second. So I was like, oh, wow. I feel really happy and excited to see that I've made that, myself and her dad has made that motivation drive in her to want to do this, to want to write. Because before she wasn't a writer. She read well, but she didn't want to write. So now she's writing and can't stop. So I'm happy that I had that a part to
How old
play in
is
that.
she?
She's 7.
Aw,
Yes,
that
she's
is adorable.
7. Yes,
Yes, I know that feeling. I'm a co-author with my 4-year-old grandson,
yes,
and he is so proud to wear that badge. I'm a
great.
co-author. So
That
yeah,
is
it's
wonderful.
really special. And self-publishers have just come out and putting their best foot forward and accomplishing great works. So, can you tell us a little bit about your book?
Sure. Apart from me being inspired with me teaching my children how to save and having the class on Outschool, I also wanted the world to know that this is a time to teach your children about saving,
Hmm.
because so many pitfalls came with this pandemic. So many things happened, and it dug into our finances. It dug into everything surrounding that. I mean, we had to relate back to online and do everything from home. And some people will see that as, oh, I have more time. But we might have a little more money too, because we don't have to go on and pay for transportation out there. So why not put that into savings and show your children that are working remotely how to save, how you do it. So me teaching my child about saving that money, and me teaching the teens on Facebook how the process of saving should begin and how to manage their money was definitely a step towards me saying, okay, I'm going to write about it, and I'll write a children's book so that I can also share it with the world now on how to start saving. And when they read this in a book, hopefully children will say, oh, wow, I want to be like Louise. I want to be like Louisa and save my money in order for me to buy something tangible, in order for me to save towards the future, in order for me to teach my friends how to save. So all that's in the book. The book is geared towards 7 to 10 year olds, but
Hmm.
hopefully teachers from all over will see this book and say, wow, I want that for my classroom, because it can play a part in math. You can construct mathematical lessons through the book. It has a vocabulary listing from the book. There's comprehension questions that I have constructed in there that's geared towards reading and analyzing and really logical thinking. So definitely a book that will help in the classrooms and libraries for children to learn from, learn how to save. There's a little part about friendship. It's a book geared towards those topics. And
Our last question
sure.
was, tell me about your teenage program that you've been speaking about.
Okay, so it's the process of saving, how we start from the piggyback level of getting money into your piggy bank, from allowances given or money that they work for. Try to always think about putting something aside, whether it's 10% or half of whatever they make, to put it into something, some jar, some piggy bank, whatever. Even nowadays, they have apps. I was mentioning some of the apps to them that they can go to help organize their planning of
Hmm.
saving. And then from there, if they have enough, get their parents behind opening an account for them,
Oh,
get behind investing and learning more about the stock market. And there are many classes on Outschool for stock market. So I gave them a worksheet of all these affiliated places that will be an outreach to saving, because it becomes important. And now that teens have their parents there to back them, this
Yeah.
is the time for saving. This is their moment to try to get all that monies into a bank account, try to save so that by the time they're ready for college, they have
Mhm.
entertainment funds. They have money to do whatever they choose to do with, but hopefully put towards the future.
Okay.
So definitely is a class needed, I think, and I constructed that, and I hope to have one for the younger group, because my daughter, she loves to save, and I know there are others like her that would like to know how to start, where to start, and where do I go from having, oh, I saved up $1,000, let's invest it, or putting it
Right.
in an account. And for this moment, like when so many people are lacking funds, this would be the time to start putting that extra somewhere to invest. And I think we need to teach our kids to do that too, not
Okay.
just not just do it ourselves, but teach them that this is what we do and we want you to start doing it. Motivate them to do that. And in the classroom, I can see a teacher using this book to help empower the kids there to save and let them see that this is how these characters did it, so we can do it too. I remember having a classroom back in my teaching days, and I had them recycle bottles, and we saved
Mhm.
up enough money. Let's see who can get to this goal, this monetary goal the first. And then we invested it in St. Jude's Hospital. We had money enough to buy some classroom items. So different things like this saving can definitely lead to, and this book hopefully would be an asset to any classroom or child.
Okay. So what I was wanting to get more into was how do you get your students? Because I know you were a teacher before, but how are you getting your participants?
Through Outschool usually advertises on Facebook and other outlets. They advertise for you, and then you have to market too. And that's my weaker point, marketing. But I'm learning from this experience too. I'm learning how to market myself. But you can do it word of mouth. If you have friends through email and you know parents with kids, you can reach out and let them know about your classes, and they
Okay.
can go on Outschool for your classes.
So how many students do you have?
I don't have a whole lot yet because
Uh-huh.
this is pretty recent. I had
Right.
signed up with Outschool in November, and I got approved around that time, but I had so many distractions that came on my plate. So I had deaths and different things that I had to deal with. So I officially got started around February. So
Okay.
I'm still taking time out to market, and I am hopeful that more students will come aboard. I don't have many.
Okay, I'm gonna have to talk to you about that Outschool because I think I've heard one of my other authors were doing something similar. I thought
Okay.
she said Outschool, but I'm not familiar with the platform.
Okay.
And she was getting her books into oh the prime, mainstream. I
Okay.
guess she was a teacher as well.
Okay.
So, okay, well, that is awesome. And we'll wrap it up unless you want to read us the first page of
Okay.
your book.
Sure.
Ah, awesome.
Don't mind.
I won't put you on the spot and have you do the whole thing like I have done before, but
Okay,
yeah.
let's go to the first page.
Okay.
And I wanted to just make a point to say I also dedicated this book to my bonus dad, my stepdad as well. He passed in, was it March? January, sorry, January 2021. So
Oh,
I
sorry to
did
hear that.
in memory of him, Michael Emerson Harvey, and he's mentioned in the book.
Oh, okay.
Okay, Louisa teaches Mike how to save. Louisa and Mike were best friends since pre kindergarten at Peaknot Primary School. They did almost everything together, From crying their second week of school for their mommies every day to playing different games amongst themselves, they shared almost everything in common, like being the only ones in school without bikes.
Aw, that is. Oh yeah, just turn it
The
just a
lighting,
little
I'm
bit more.
sorry.
Yes.
Okay,
Awesome. I love it
and that's the
already.
cover.
Oh,
Okay.
that's the cover. Yeah, it's kind of going to the side a little bit, but
Yes, it's the
oh,
lighting. I'm sorry. Bad lighting
no,
here
that's fine.
on my
That's
part.
fine. That is awesome,
Thank
Micah,
you
and you're
so
such a
much. Thank you
great.
so much for the opportunity.
You
Thank you,
just
Miss
infuse
Michelle.
those lines so perfectly, so well. I can just imagine the kids really enjoying the story. I'm gonna have to get you to read that story for us and on our story time. Are you thinking about having a book launch?
Yeah, possibly later. Yes, I will
Okay.
definitely think about that.
Yeah. So, like, well, then, you don't want to give away all the goods before the book launch. And that's kind of what I was saying. So,
Right.
yeah, just get it and get that hard copy in your hand and then go from there. That's exciting.
Yes, it is
So,
exciting.
well, thank you so much, Andrea, for
Thank you for
being
having
here.
me again.
And we
Thank
love
you.
your story. Once again, tell us the name of the book and who you are. And
Sure, I am
any final words.
sure. I'm Andrea Echols, and you can find my book on Amazon. Louisa teaches Mike how to save. Any words for those out there who are dreaming, who have a word, who have the passion for writing? Please don't sit on it any longer. This is the time. With this pandemic, time is on your hands. Nights, sleepless nights, use it to write. And you'll be inspired with yourself too, because I was. So
Oh, thank you.
thank
And
you.
we will have you back again.
Thank you
Okay.
so much.
Bye bye.